the reason that he had custody of Julian during that time period was because I was hospitalized.
I can share the credit calculation, but it shows that he should receive a credit of $3,283. Are you in agreement that he should receive that credit or not?
No, ma'am, not in agreement.
All right. And what is the main reason you're not in agreement for him receiving that?
Well, for one, the main reason is that the reason that he had custody of Julian during that time period was because I was hospitalized. It wasn't anything that I can control. And then the second reason would be that my bills, he was returning back to me. So as soon as I got healthy, it happened, but my bills were still the same amount. Everything stayed the same.
Okay.
And
All
I
right.
had to keep everything the same until he came back. So to me, I still had the same utilities, the same rent, et cetera, et cetera.
All right. So now, Ms. Duran, during that time period, did you provide Mr. Duran some assistance for Julian?
I did.
And how did you provide that?
Some of it was through Zoom. Some of it was through, most of it was through Zoom. And some of it was, I believe, a check that I received. No, actually, no, I did receive, it was through Zelle. Through
Zelle.
Zelle
Okay.
and maybe have some cash.
All right. You said earlier Zoom. Did you mean Zelle?
I meant Zelle. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
And let's talk about that. So there was 4 months. Do you know what you gave him for each month?
It was an average of $300 for the other 3 months that he had him. But I know for sure for December, it was $968.
Okay. Why did you give him $968 in December?
Because I received a check, and so I cashed that check. Now I knew that it was my understanding that he wasn't working. That's me knowing this through my son, that he wasn't working. And so to me, I cashed it, and it was for Julian's Christmas. But I later found out, anyway, I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but I later found out that he ended up paying his truck payment and didn't buy anything for Julian
Okay, well, hold on a second, Ms.
during
Grant.
Christmas. Mm-hmm.
Ms. Grant, let's go back a second. You received a
Sure.
check. What kind of check did you receive?
It was just an assistance because I wasn't in and out of the hospital
Okay.
through all of 2019 and 2020, but
Right. But it wasn't a
yeah,
check that came from Mr. Duran that you were returning to him.
no, it was not.
Okay. All right. Now, the $968, you said it was for Christmas. Was your intention that that go to Julian?
I just gave it to Mr. Duran to see fit as he needed, based on the fact that I knew that he wasn't working. But just as he trusts me with the money that he gives me to use on Julian, I trusted him to do the same.
Okay. Did you give the money to Mr. Duran? Was that through Zelle?
Yes.
Okay. And what about the other months? How
The
much
other
did you
months, and some of it was done through Zelle, and I honestly, I don't recall that I gave Julian any money directly. I gave it mostly to Terry directly.
And are you asking the court to find that you paid him $300 a month for September, October, and November?
I would like to ask that, yes.
Okay. Now, what are you asking that the court consider because you gave him this money? Are you wanting the court to add that back in to as money that he owes you? Or that
No,
money
ma'am,
that should be against the
no,
judge?
no, ma'am. I'm not asking him to pay back any money that I gave him. I just want to let the court know that there was money from me being sent the other way, as well. So no, I'm not asking for credit on that or repayment on any of that.
Okay, so if the court grants Mr. Duran credit for the possession credit, that 3,200 plus dollars, you're not asking the court to go back and add back in what you paid him.
I would like to receive a credit on those $3,000 based on what I gave him. Yes,
Okay.
if it goes that way.
All right. Now, was that an agreement that you and Mr. Duran made with each other about you sending him money?
No, ma'am. There was no agreement. Again, I was hospitalized. I did what I could do during those months.
Okay. Now, what is the current health insurance for Julian?
Julian does not have health insurance at the moment.
Okay. Are you in agreement that the state will order you to apply for government health insurance for now?
I am. I still have questions about that program. I've never heard of it, and I just want to make sure that before I mean, the only thing I know is that you're going to give me $100. I don't know if it's I don't know what kind of program it is or
Okay,
how it works.
well, hold on a second, Mr. Duran. Let me break this down because we've had
Mhm.
conversations Judge is not aware of, right? So hold on. Um,
Right,
are you in agreement that we will order you to apply for government health insurance, which would be Medicaid, basically?
right.
Are you in agreement with that? Is that a yes?
I'm in agreement with that, and I also responded with I will not I don't qualify for it.
Okay. So do you
Right.
understand? So you have applied before for Medicaid already.
I have not because I know that I'm not going to be qualified for it.
And I believe I've explained that if you don't qualify, then if the court orders a cash medical support, that will most likely go to you,
Right.
that payment. Okay.
That's in that.
And you don't have any concerns with your address, phone number, or email being included in this order?
No, ma'am.
No concerns with anyone other than Mr. Duran having that information?
No, ma'am.
And Ms. Duran, currently Julian is back in your possession?
Yes, he is.
And you understand that you'll have to submit a letter to the state about him still being in high school before he graduates next year,
I do.
or actually
I'm aware.
before he turns 18.
Hmm.
All
Yes,
right.
ma'am.
Pass the witness, Judge.
Mr. Duran, is there anything else that you want to tell me at this time regarding the support amount?
No, ma'am. Regarding the actual support, as I said, and that I'm getting $700, but I feel that I would have received more had this process gone a little faster. So I would like to add an additional $100 on top of that if I can. I'm respectfully requesting that.
All right, Mr. Duran said he was okay paying it based on 40 hours a week, which would be $791. Is that something that you're agreeable to?
So the 791 is just based on his income now?
Yes, based on
Okay.
40 hours that he doesn't always
Right.
get, but sometimes that's what he's striving for. Is that my understanding of the testimony, Mr. Duran?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, are you okay with that, ma'am?
I am okay with that.
All right, is there anything else that you want to tell me at this time, ma'am?
Not today, thank you. I mean, not anymore. Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Duran, do you have any questions for Ms. Duran?
Nope, not at all, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Gonzalez-Tiller, do you have any follow-up questions?
I do not, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Duran, in the divorce decree that was done, did they acknowledge that the child support orders were already taken care of?
It was.
Do you agree with that, Mr. Duran?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I followed it myself.
So nothing happened in the divorce regarding Julian, other
No,
than it
because
said another order has another cause number is out there for him.
yes, ma'am, in the
That's
divorce
correct.
decree, because the state, or we already had a court hearing.
Okay,
and,
I just want to verify it so we know which cause we're supposed to be looking at. Is there anything else that you want to testify to, Mr. Duran?
No, ma'am.
Anything you want to respond to in regards to Ms. Duran's testimony?
No, I'm just gonna keep it civil, ma'am.
Ms. Duran, do you have any other testimony, anything you want to respond to in regards to Mr. Duran's testimony?
Not at this time, ma'am. No.
All right, closing arguments from the state.
Your Honor, the state would ask the court to approve. It sounds like the parties reached an agreement on child support.
I'm so sorry. I
Mr.
do
Duran,
have a question.
you'll get a chance, but it's her
Okay.
time right now, okay?
Okay. Okay.
Go
Thank
ahead,
you.
Ms. Gonzalez-Taylor.
Yes. It sounds like the parties have reached an agreement of child support at $791 a month. The state is asking that government health insurance be ordered because there's no other health insurance available at a reasonable cost to either one of the parents. And the state's in agreement, Judge, to do that at $100 a month. The state's asking for support to start December 1st, but we understand that the court goes back from that. But then the state will have to change the judgment dates, Judge, if that happens. We are asking to go ahead and add in the order that Ms. Duran's name be corrected to Norma Beatrice Cruz. If we'll have Mr. Duran also agree that is her true legal name, then I'll add that as an agreement by the parties. As far as the arrearage payment, we're asking for judgments as of yesterday per the pay record and child support of $9,220.12. State's position is that Mr. Duran is entitled to the possession credit of $3,283, which would then make a judgment of $5,437.12. And we'll leave it within the court's ruling as to whether or not there should be any deduction on that based on what Ms. Duran's testified to about her providing support to Mr. Duran during this time period.
Anything else?
No, Judge.
Ms. Duran, do you have any closing argument you want to make based on everything we've talked about?
The only thing I would like to add, ma'am, is that I know that the Ms. Taylor went to start the whole the new court order December 1st. If it's possible for me to request that it go back as far long as it can be taken back, considering that I asked for a modification earlier in the year. And you know, we're already at the end of the year. So I don't know if that's possible, but I respectfully request that.
Anything else, ma'am?
That's it, ma'am.
Mr. Duran, do you have any closing argument on what I should do today based on everything we've talked about?
No, ma'am, I'm just leaving it in your hands.
Ms. Gonzalez-Taylor, what is the judgment date you're requesting?
Well, it depends on when the court starts support. I based my numbers based on yesterday's judgment date, which was November 1st. But other than that, Judge, based on service, it looks like the earliest the modification could occur would be October 1st. Because Mr. Duran was served on September 7th.
All right. All right. At this time, the court finds that there is an arrearage amount of $7,787.01 as of September 30th, 2023. The court grants the possession credits that were requested for those 4 months. Ms. Duran, I understand that you had terrible circumstances during that time. I'm a little bothered that dad was paying $800 and you were only giving him $300. And so I'm going to give him the possession credits, but I am going to start the child support as of the effective date, the earliest I can, which is October. So I'm giving you a little bit between now and then. Mr. Duran, you made a general appearance. You've done everything you're supposed to do as a dad. And that's part of the reason that you're getting the possession credits, but I am going to go ahead and start it because timing wise, I can't go back further. I didn't hear anything to go back further, but timing wise, it's appropriate to go ahead and start it. So you're getting the 4 months of possession credits, but current support will be at the $791 versus for October versus December. The $100 a month, I'm going to start that on December 1st. So that will go forward. Ms. Duran, you are required to apply for CHIP or Medicaid. If you do not qualify, you are required to go get private health insurance in place. The $100 would be coming to you to go and do so. If you cannot find it at a reasonable rate, you guys need to talk about that to make sure that he's covered, because otherwise you're gonna, we don't have much time left, but things happen. I don't know if he's in sports, but teenage boys will be teenage boys. You don't want him to have to break an arm or a leg doing something that he loves to do, or just being a teenager and having to go through that expense. So you guys need to look into some kind of private insurance. If it's more expensive than $100, you guys need to talk about it to get that in place.
Right. I have medical insurance that I can provide, but again, I agree myself that it's not reasonable.
That's why the CHIP or Medicaid
Right.
is the option.
Okay.
And the 50-50 rule will be in place if you do
Okay.
not qualify for CHIP or Medicaid, ma'am. But one of you needs to talk, you need to talk about that. Because if one of you can get it through a private source at a reasonable rate, you need to do so.
Mhm.
And if one of you are not doing it, then somebody could be responsible for 100% of the out-of-pocket medical expenses, depending on the circumstances as to what has happened to find private insurance for kiddo if CHIP or Medicaid does not qualify you for it, okay? Court costs are waived because you both are prevailing parties in some form or fashion. So neither one of you have to worry about court costs. All payments continue to go through the state disbursement unit. And Ms. Gonzalez-Taylor, do you have the updated possession credit amount based on the September 30th judgment?
No, Judge, give me 1 second. Let me make sure I have the correct amount. Possession credit is $3,283, Judge. So
7 times 4 is 2,800 plus interest. And I'm assuming based on State's Exhibit 2 that we're just having to back out interest for October.
no, Judge, that's for all 2020. So the
I know
credit,
that, but I think that he would be getting charged $14 for the month of October because the September interest would be in there still. And November interest hasn't been charged.
well, let me give you the number that I have, and then you can adjust to Judge. I have that the judgment is $7,787.01. And then I had the possession credit calculated at $3,283 for a judgment of $4,504.01. And then I'm not sure what
And I think it should be $3,269 for the credit.
okay. $269. So 7,787.01 minus
So $4,518.01 would be the new judgment as of September 30th. October and November's payment would be the $791, and then everything just kind of rolls forward from that. And there's nothing owed under cash medical, but any unreimbursed medical expenses or premiums remain because they were not litigated today. Do you have any questions, Ms. Duran? And your name will get changed on there. Do you have any questions?
No problem. The only question I had, and I didn't want to interrupt you while you were talking about the government health, is that so the $100, am I getting it from Mr. Duran or am I getting that from
Mr. Duran would pay that through the state. If you qualify
Okay.
for Medicaid, they would keep it. If you qualify for CHIP or you don't qualify for either one, they should be mailing that out to you, how you get paid support, whether it's a debit or a direct deposit.
Okay.
Any other questions, Mr. Duran?
That's the only question I had.
Mr. Duran, do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
All right, then Ms. Gonzalez-Taylor will prepare all of the paperwork for you. She will send it to you today. I will sign it by tomorrow afternoon with or without your signature. If you get it today and it doesn't match the ruling of the court, you have that amount of time to let us know that it doesn't match the ruling of the court, and you let Ms. Gonzalez-Taylor know that, and I'm going to trust her as the officer of the court that she has not received your comments regarding it matching. I will sign it tomorrow afternoon. I will either make changes to it or I will let them know that they need to set it for a new hearing in front of me, since I'm the one that heard it, on a different date. And then if either one of you are unhappy with the ruling of the court, you have 3 days to ask for a new hearing called a de novo hearing, saying, I disagree with these issues, please give me a new hearing, and then it would be in front of the referring court in Hays County. Do you have any questions about that process, ma'am?
No, ma'am, not a question on that. Did we determine the amount on the arrears that
Well,
he's
the
going to be paying
arrearages as of
monthly?
September 30th will be $4,518.01. And then current child support will increase $791 in October and November. So that will carry forward.
Right.
And so I can't give you an accurate amount as of today because of the interest for October and November.
Okay, I'm sorry, let me rephrase my question. I probably didn't, so the amount that he will be paying on the said arrearages, was it decided if it was
The payment
$50 or
plan.
$100?
I had
Yes.
not done that yet, so thank you
Oh,
for
okay.
reminding me of
Okay.
that. Because kiddo's emancipating in May or June, depending on when his graduation date is, I'm gonna go with the $50 payment per month. And then once Julian graduates, the total payment will go up to $850 until the balance is paid off. So realistically, it shouldn't take long after he graduates to get that balance paid off. Any questions, ma'am?
That's it, thank you.
All right, Mr. Duran, do you have any other questions?
No, ma'am, just ready to get this over with.
All right, good luck to you both.
Judge, if I could, just to confirm, I'm sorry. So the cash medical is $100. That's to begin December 1st, but the $791 begins October 1st.
Yes, ma'am.
And then the $50 will begin December 1st. I just wanna
Yes, and then the $100 for cash medical, the $791 for current support, and the $50, you add those three up, and that's what Mr. Duran will pay once Julian emancipates until the balance is paid off.
So the $791, 150. So that's
So-
that's at $941.
Yes, yes. Anything else, Ms. Gonzalez-Taylor?
No, Your Honor.
All right, anything else, Ms. Duran?
Not today.
All right,
No, ma'am,
Mr.
thank you.
Duran?
No, I'm good. Thank you, ma'am.
Fabulous. You guys have a fabulous day. Good luck to you. And we are off the